Welcome to Master and Apprentice.
Today we're going to make a retinal scanner from the Blade Runner universe.
This is Marcus Laporte. For the last 17 years, Marcus has been working in the film industry as a production designer, art director, and prop fabricator.
And this is Adam Ellis, a novice cosplayer and the systems administrator for Rooster Teeth, production company we work for.
We're going to show you what it takes to make professional level props from your favorite movies and video games.
And teach you the tricks that pros use that you can do at home.
This is Master and Apprentice.
Marcus, today we're not necessarily building a replica prop, but we are building something from within the universe of Blade Runner. So tell me how we're going to do that.
Okay, so a production designer's job is basically to establish the visual language of a movie. Someone sits down and figures out what the stuff looks like and where it's supposed to go, and they basically create this world based off the director's vision. We're not actually going to make a replica prop from the Blade Runner universe, but we're going to be borrowing the aesthetics and the guidelines that Blade Runner kind of sets out. So we're going to be looking at the color palette, we're going to be looking at the prop inspirations that they're using, and we're going to apply this to ourselves.
So Marcus, I see that we have a lot of various weird parts around us. How are we actually going to build the prop?
The first step is going to be to make a sketch. We're utilizing standard pen and paper here. The second step is to build a styrene box. We're going to be using a utility blade and some styrene sheets to pull that off. When we're done with that, we're going to move into kit bashing. We're going to use a lot of model parts, and then we're also going to be using glues and adhesives to put all that stuff together. Then we're going to be doing some painting. We're using spray paint right off the shelf, an airbrush if you have one, and then lastly, we're going to do some weathering, which is going to require some brushes and acrylic paint. A big part of the universe here on Blade Runner is seeing the cosmopolitan nature of a mashup of all these cultures in one. We want to use that. It's a great detail. We're going to bring over the pen and pad and make some drawings and point this in the right direction.
Right now we're sort of drawing out the pieces that we want to work on and add on to, and that we could maybe replicate when we get to our actual model part.
I'm thinking you're going to have this on your shoulder. Let's just use this one. Are we thinking this goes like this?
Yes, like a cool man purse.
This build will be made up of two main pieces, the handheld device and the box it attaches to.
We have this military box that we found at the Army surplus store. We're going to be harvesting parts from this so that we can build our little shoulder piece, and we are going to be using it right here. We're going to build a little box, so let's go ahead and flip these clips and get into this. Okay, so then you want to pull there. Wow. There we go. That's what we wanted to happen. Snip those right there for me. This is basically the usable part that we wanted.
Is great.
So the next step is going to be building a styrene box that all of this can sort of attach to, and it'll give us the basis for our shoulder piece to begin with. I think we need to figure out how big of a box we want to make, and you know, as we're looking here, we're taking into account the fact that this top section is basically our business ends, and then we can have all these other things attached.
We're going to grind down the back of the radio so that it sits more flush with our box.
We're gonna make this look like a weld. And when I say weld, I mean we're gonna make this look like metal. So
Right,
we're gonna do a little action here where we sort of mimic the shape of what a normal metal weld is going to look like.
Is there any coming back from that if you screw up the motion other than wiping it all off?
No. You have to be really good.
Cool.
Yeah. So the next step is to finally do some of the fun kit bashing. Kit bashing is taking pieces from an off-the-shelf model kit and adding them to a build to enhance the details of a prop. We bought a bunch of plastic model parts. Everything in here is pretty cool. We bought some spaceships, we bought some planes, bought some trains. Cool part about this is these great little details on them that we can use all the production value that's built into these parts. This one kind of looks like a handle already. It's pretty good. What do you think? Oh, maybe on the other side?
About like that. There you go.
That's pretty good. Perfect.
Good click. We were trying to fit this switch and some of the wiring within the casing, but because we already have all this other wiring outside of it as it is, we decided just to let it hang out and fit in the aesthetic as it is.
For the most part, I usually try to hide as many of the LED wires as I can, but in this particular case, we don't have to.
So we're gonna take these guys and just throw them over there? That looks pretty sweet, dude.
It's pretty good.
Oh, well, how about that?
So to power our LEDs, we're just wrapping some electrical tape around these watch batteries.
We're wrapping the watch batteries just because it gives us an even 12 volts. You could easily use something that's prepackaged or pre-engineered. One of them is going to go up in here and is going to allow us to get a little bit of light coming out of there. I think that's
cool.
pretty nice.
So cool. Oh, you know what? This is kind of a perfect fit.
I buy that.
Once we put some plexus in it, even without it, like,
Okay, all right, I believe you. Don't break it!
I'm pulling it off.
When we're painting something this small, we really want as little paint in here as possible. We get that the tape is going to mask it, but we don't want it to get under and wick into that seal. So we're just gonna do what we can to kind of mist that top corner. There you go. Be light in there, because we want all those little details to show up. Stencil, it's doing pretty good. Hold the can from far away, and you're just gonna go psst, 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 in little bursts. If it gets glossy or wet, it's
in
going
trouble.
in the crack,
All right.
and it's over.
Okay.
So you wanna just sort of like put consecutive layers of dusted paint. It's great.
Ooh, look at that.
Nice. Very
Sweet.
good. And on a lot of props you notice, and on the set pieces too, there's lots of languages and it's plastered everywhere. It's in the graffiti, it's in the advertising. This culture's real, so I want to dive into that. This is where we're gonna do the metallized wax finishes.
Yep.
We're gonna see all these little weld marks. We're gonna sort of brush over all these little small little pieces that we laid in, and we get to see the magic.
You don't want it like wet with
No.
the wax, okay?
No, I mean, this is a dry brush technique. The biggest trick I have for this is that you're gonna work with the brush's side, not the actual front, because it gives you the ability to work like a flat surface over this. What we're trying to do is hit the high spots with this, and the low spots stay dark, and gives this a lot more contrast. Oh, there you go. Nice. So we're gonna add some grime to the welds we made earlier. Anytime we have metal that meets other metal and there's a weld, it's a perfect opportunity to add some rust effects as well as some grit and grime.
Looks great, dude.
Yeah. You can get closer. You can get a lot closer. There you go.
We're done.
Going into it, I was terrified because kit bashing is not something I do. It's not something that my brain previously really understood. You can't just stick a thing on here because you like the way the part looks. You have to understand how things work together and give it a purpose. And I'm so happy that we got it to look the way it did.
This reads to me like it came from Blade Runner. Thank you so much for watching Master and Apprentice.
If there's something you'd like to see us make, let us know. Otherwise, we'd love to see what you made as well. So send us pictures.
We'll see you next time.